Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I am your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. But Nate, we're forgetting about you like always because we have another guest today, Angels beat writer for The Athletic, Sam Blum. Sam, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, excited. I'm just thank you for coming on. First off, I really do appreciate it. Plug everything right now. You know, Twitter, where everybody can find your work, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess I should probably plug the company first. So, follow us or read us at The Athletic. Go to the Angels tab. It's worth it for all the coverage at the website, but certainly, hopefully for the Angels coverage. And then on Twitter at Sam Blum 3. And I don't have anything else to follow me on, so that's it.
Snapchat? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No. So that's fantastic. So, man, how's the off season been going for you? Pretty good. I know
it's interesting. Interesting off season, right? And who knows how long this off season will last. I'm hopeful it's like another 30 minutes, but we'll see. It's interesting. Obviously, had that trial a couple weeks ago, and a lot of downtime, a lot of trying to figure out what to write about. But it's been good. Hopefully it's over though.
Absolutely. And you're in Arizona right now doing a little coverage of spring training, right? How's that going out there?
It's interesting. It's the Angels they're at old San Francisco Giants facility. They're not playing in Tempe because of renovations. So they're in Scottsdale, and it's just minor leaguers. Obviously, it's a lot of the top prospects are there, but and a lot of them have been there for a long time. But it's not Major League Baseball, but I know you guys are all about minor league, so it's probably the best. It's good times for you guys, but I'm looking forward to seeing Major League Baseball players out here. Hopefully,
minor leaguers are people too. I'm just
absolutely.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
No, it is a little bit different. I know that it's not spring training without those. It's not spring training without Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and those type of guys. So
and the competition too. I think a lot of these guys. And the interesting thing about it is some of the players we haven't seen on the roster that are here, like Kyle Barraclough, Magneuris Sierra, who are players that are on minor league deals, not on the 40-man roster, but aren't here either because I think they were given the option just because of the lockout. So, and those are former major league players. So it's interesting the dynamics at play, and we're not really getting a chance to see that competition and that opportunity for guys to put themselves in position to make the roster.
Absolutely. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out when it's all said and done. And just briefly, so you guys know, we recorded this the night before, and there are talks going on right now. So, I mean, honestly, the lockout could end right now, and who knows what we could talk about. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how long this night goes and into tomorrow and such like that when you guys are listening to this. But let's first start off with a little bit of, actually, Nate, I forgot. How you doing, my friend? Are you okay? I forgot about you down there.
We always forget about me. It's fine. No, it's good to be here. Excited to have Sam on. So it's going to be a good podcast.
Of course. Yeah, no, I'm excited. We can talk a little bit of baseball. So let's start this off with a little rapid fire for Sam here. You okay with that, Sam? We get a little.
Sure. I hope.
Cool. Yeah, no, nothing crazy. So start off. Best baseball movie or favorite baseball movie for you?
Bull Durham.
Ooh, good one. Good. That's one we haven't heard a lot of. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Underrated, I think, too. Favorite or best baseball uniform of all time?
I really like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays uniforms. Montreal Expos too. Those are good. Yeah.
That's really good. I like that. Another one we haven't heard before. So, you have a favorite player right now or favorite player growing up?
David Wright, a group of Mets fan.
Nice. Did you play growing up a little bit?
I don't know what constitute is playing, so I'll say no.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. What would your walk-up song be if you had a walk-up song?
Oh, no, I've never thought about this.
Putting you on the spot, man.
I actually don't. I couldn't give you an answer.
Genre, at least?
Yeah, you got.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of an actual song. I really, when I was a kid, I loved when they played the Cotton Eye Joe at baseball games. So I'll go with that.
Heck yeah, love it. That's a good one too. Finally, you're in the press box a lot. So, what's your favorite snack or meal in the press box?
I'm sure I annoyed people this year because I would actually go and sit up in the second row and just eat ballpark peanuts, crack it open and have a big napkin of just shells. So I'm sure I really pissed people off with that, but I'll go with peanuts.
Dad Jeff Fletcher didn't tell you not to do that?
That's why I sat in the second row. I didn't want him to.
That's good. That's all I got for you. I figured we'd break the ice a little bit and let everybody kind of get there. So, well, I appreciate it. So,
Sure.
let's get on to you. You've been writing for the Athletic, for the Angels beat writer now since July. I think you told me.
July, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get the gig? How'd that all happen? You know?
Man, I applied for. They had an opening, Dodgers opening, and they just moved Fabian Ardaya, you guys are obviously familiar with, onto that, and they asked if I wanted to do Angels, and I said absolutely. So that's how it all happened.
You're out here now.
I was in Texas. I was covering college sports and helping out on the Rangers for the Dallas Morning News before that, and I wanted to cover baseball like full time, and this was a really good chance to do that, obviously.
Yeah, so that answers my question. I mean, it's always been baseball, or did you want to write about other stuff?
I mean, I enjoyed covering college sports because it's just a really unique industry, and there's a lot of dynamics that I think, need to be covered. But it's, it's the same thing in pro baseball. It's just, different storylines, a different, when you're covering pro sports, it's a whole different animal. But yeah, I mean, I know people complain about the grind of covering Major League Baseball, like, because it is really tiring because you're there from 2 in the afternoon sometimes till 12 at night, but it's every day. But I wanted that experience, so we'll see how I feel after a full 6-month season, which I hope we have. But I like the idea of doing that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's like I said, for me in minor leagues, like I get out there at 2, 3, 4 o'clock maybe, hopefully see some batting practice, see some infield, and then minor league games, there's maybe 1,000, 2,000 people there at some games, and that gets a little bit tougher. So Major League Baseball, definitely a lot more fun to cover the minor leagues, but regardless, I mean, it's pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet gig you got, man.
Baseball is baseball. It's a great gig. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't like to complain about it because it's I know a lot of people would like this job, so I'm excited to have it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, when it comes to college and pro sports, I always say, college basketball is better than NBA. I think that college football is better than the NFL, and we're almost getting to that point where the NCAA baseball is getting better than Major League Baseball, especially when there's not baseball being played. So
I love college baseball. I've been going since I moved. I live in Long Beach, and I've been to like 4 games already out there. Just
that's a good team. Yeah, Long Beach State's fantastic. Who did you see play?
Saw them play Sacramento State. Then I played North Dakota State this week. What's that?
That was a tough weekend for them, man.
They lost, I think, every game by like 1 run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they started off hot against Miss, and then they came home and they just decided that hitting was not important anymore. And
yeah,
I think they got swept by Sac State, then they went and played UCLA and struck out 19 times. I have ESPN3, so I have way too much time on my hand. I've been watching all this stuff, but I absolutely love this stuff. So I can talk college baseball with you all day.
I'm a big college baseball. I mean, I covered Auburn and UVA.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was the year Auburn went to the College World Series.
So was Mize there when you were there?
Who's that?
Casey Mize? Was that?
No, that was the year before.
Year before, okay.
Yeah. They didn't have like a big superstar player that year. And they were a 3 seed, I think, in the NCAA tournament, and they just kind of went on a run.
Yep.
Yeah,
you got let's see, where'd you play, Nate? Again, it's like southeast, northwestern Nebraska out of Ohio or something like that. Where'd you play?
Nah, Southeast Missouri State was so. We played some. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking it was gonna be somewhere.
No. He loves to make fun of it, but it was D1. No, Tennessee Tech was my senior year. Tennessee Tech played Texas in the Super Regionals and lost in Game 3 for a chance to go to the College World Series. So
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
That was Cody Clemens' senior year, I believe, or junior year, his last year at Texas. So that was a good, really good. We played them 3 times and it was tough. So fun times. I love college baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a growing. It's only certain parts of the country I think really care about it, but hopefully it grows.
Yeah, I mean the Southeast. You play a game in the Southeast. Oh my gosh! Like playing at Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Missouri. Like there's nothing like it. Like it's unbelievable. One of the best experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, college baseball, I think we're getting to that point where almost Southeast, you mentioned it, Nate, Southeast college baseball is getting to be almost better than Major League Baseball at some point. Like, not to brag on, not to be that guy with the Angels, but like sometimes, Angels games aren't that fun to go to sometimes. And we all know that it gets rough sometimes when Mike Trout isn't playing and Shohei Ohtani isn't playing. And, and Jack Mayfield is batting third, and Phil Gosslin's batting fourth. So besides that fact, fantastic that we all enjoy college baseball. And that's pretty cool that you've been going to Long Beach State games.
Yeah, no, the beach. I'm excited for basketball too because they just won the conference.
Yep.
That's kind of what got me into it. I started going to some basketball games. Now they're just won the conference. Hopefully they go to the tournament too. But why not go root for the beach?
Heck yeah. Watch out for Trent Rush. He's the UCI guy.
I know. Yeah, I see his tweets.
Yeah.
So. I haven't talked to him about it, but I do feel a bit of a rivalry just like when I see his tweets. I'm like,
day one spring training or day one opening day, whenever that is, walk in with a Long Beach State jersey on. See,
yeah, I should do that.
That'd be
especially if they beat him.
You should do that.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So let's get on to a little bit more baseball or Major League Baseball talk, should we say? And we got the lockout going, like we said. We got talks going right now. Talks going throughout the week. We don't know when this could possibly end, but I just want to kind of get your take on everything that's going on. I don't want to get you in too much trouble with anything you say, but what do you got on this lockout? What are your feelings?
I mean, listen. I obviously think that this is on the owners. That's just I don't think. Certainly enough people at our website have written that, so I feel like I can probably say it too. It's I think I appreciate the fact that the offers seem to be getting better, or that it seems like they are genuinely negotiating right now. That's at least the perception I get. So hopefully that continues and it doesn't take that much longer to reach a deal. But it's taken a really long time for them to even get to the point where I feel like the negotiations have been serious, where they're actual offers. The lockout, I think they took 43 days to even, sit down after this whole thing started. So the fact that games are now in jeopardy is kind of ridiculous. The players obviously felt like they needed to make significant strides. It's going to take compromise. I think they're willing to do that. But I don't believe that the players are going to cave on this. I think that if that's what the owner strategy is, it's not going to really work. Maybe over the course of months and months, you never know what could happen. But, they're getting a stipend. I think that there's the vast majority of players seem to be pretty united on this front. And I have a feeling that that the owners, like in 2020, like we saw, when they ended up agreeing to, even though they never made it a formal agreement, they did agree to pay the full prorated salaries. It's just the players are going to hold out because, there's a history of this in baseball, players being, united together, and whether it's been through previous strikes or in this case, waiting to get a good CBA.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a brotherhood for sure. Like I said, I know we're not involved with the players or anything like that, but it's for sure definitely a brotherhood. Like everybody talks to everybody. It's one of those things, and not to make it like a rivalry, like players versus owners or anything like that. But it definitely is kind of starting to feel like that, and it's a little bit interesting. Is there anything you'd like to see get changed on the lockout front, like on the CBT, CBA, bigger bases type of thing?
I mean, when it comes to like some of the rule changes, I really don't. I hope they don't ban the shift. I think it's really part of the fun of the game. I think that to me is, the best part about baseball is if you're really into watching the game and you're really interested in the sport, like the strategy and the intricacies that kind of go back, you can see go back and forth, and the preparation that goes in before a game. And that's so much is seen in how teams shift and how teams, align defensively. And I think it takes skill to be able to hit against a shift. Like that's part of being a good baseball player. So to me, I think it seems like that's going to be something that I'm going to be overruled on this, obviously, but I hope that doesn't change. I hope that they go back to regular extra innings and 9-inning doubleheaders and just traditional stuff. I mean, I don't personally think there is a huge issue with like how long the games go. Maybe pace of play is an issue, but to me, I think that's kind of a talking point and something we've heard a lot since Rob Manfred became the commissioner. So that to me, those are the things that I obviously, as just someone who watches baseball and has enjoyed the game my whole life, I hope they don't make some of those changes. But, just what I'd also like to see is I think to me, the biggest issue on this lockout is minimum pay for players. I know does not seem to be the biggest, thing that's being talked about right now, but, there's a lot of players who could really use a pay bump from 570 to like 720. That's a big pay bump. So and I think that impacts most people in a pre-arb pool. That again impacts the same people. So that's who I think really needs this type of change. Who needs this lockout to get the most out of it. So we'll see. Hopefully that's who benefits from it.
Absolutely. And I feel like you're kind of on the same page as Nate and I here with this. Like you are a traditionalist, but you do like to see the new side of baseball as well, which is pretty cool. At least that's what I picked up. You're kind of in that middle. You're kind of the Joe Madden ground where it's like it's not old school, but it's not new school. You got to find that middle ground. And I think that's where a lot of people are struggling right now. So I like to see that.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it. Joe Madden is like that, where he's like he will only like pitch righties against lefties. You know what I mean? Like that's or vice versa. Rather, only hit righties against lefties and vice versa. But like but then like you said, he'll also have interesting shifts and weird lineups, and he'll do different things. And I just think as long as it's within the bounds of the rules, then it's good. Like that's what the shift has always been, at least to my knowledge, always been within the rule. I know it's something that's more new school, but I hope they don't get rid of it because it's, if you change that, then you're basically changing the entire concept of baseball, in my opinion.
It just makes the game more offensive. But I do have an interesting question based off of that. So the Rays are probably predicted to finish first place. If they ban the shift, are the Rays still the first place team in the East?
That's a really good question. I mean, I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking outside the box real quick.
No. I think it's good. It's a good question. I mean, because here's my thought on that is like the reason why the Rays are good. Yes, I think a lot of it is they have people that are really smart that know how to take advantage of every single thing that they can. So you lose that ability to be able to, find an advantage, and that obviously is not going to help them. But at the same time, they're also good because they have developed a lot of really great players.
They have developed really well.
Yeah, I mean, they just have some of the best young players in the game pretty consistently. Great defensive team, and just hit all throughout the order. So they know how to find advantages elsewhere, even outside of just defensive alignment. And I'm sure they'll be able to be better than everyone else. So I love the way the Rays are run. It's a really cool team. That's why I said the Devil Rays, because I just thought about that. Honestly, I'm not a Rays fan, but I'm just like a really big fan of the Rays. I don't know if I know there's two different.
Yeah, no. I mean, when Kenny came on the show, like when Kenny came on the show, and we were able to kind of pick his brain a little bit about the Rays and how they run and what he was able to learn from them. Jared and I were jacked for that one. Like we were like, all right, let's find out what he can tell us without telling us everything, and what made you guys so successful. And it was really cool to just hear his opinion on the differences between some organizations. Like we were really excited for that one.
The thing about Kenny is like, if Kenny were in the Angels organization, that guy would never be potentially taken in a Rule 5 minor league draft. Like never, because if that's just the fact that he's available shows that they know what they're doing.
Yep.
Oh yeah. No, it's crazy. Like the development side of things, like, and now we're getting into the minor league side of things, which I love. But like their development, I mean, you look at the best teams in baseball right now, and you look at like what they're doing. It's development. Like the Dodgers, the reason why they went out and were able to go get Max Scherzer and Mookie Betts and these guys, it's because they've been able to develop and been able to trade these guys away, and it's fantastic. It's great. I love what the Rays have done. I love what. Yeah, I just
Braves.
The Braves, like anybody
the Nationals when they won the World Series. I mean, like all these teams that have been really good. The White Sox are developing really well right now. The Rays have developed really well. The Yankees have traditionally developed really well. The Red Sox even. So I mean, yeah, that's been the biggest thing. And even the Astros, even though they kind of tanked and did it the easy way, but I mean, all these teams have been successful because of development. And like, yes, I know I said the easy way, but just because you're picking first in the draft does not mean you're going to hit on the first pick of the draft. So
I mean, they didn't hit on Mark Appel, so there's that side of things. I mean, they hit on everybody else, but they didn't hit on number 1 overall pick. He didn't make to the pros.
And they had some others, but
it's tough to not be the number 1 pick.
Absolutely, no, 100%. So, interesting conversation. I really enjoyed it. But let's get on to a little bit different conversation. We haven't really talked about this here on the show for multiple reasons, but you were at the Tyler Skaggs trial. I mean, an absolutely fascinating trial, to be honest. I know that that's kind of a weird thing to say, but when you like break it down and look into it, it was absolutely fascinating. I don't want you to go into it too much, but give us a little breakdown about what that was like, man.
Well, you're right that it is like really I mean, I think it was tough in a lot of ways, and you're dealing with people's families and all that. But it was a really fascinating trial because, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of things that are important in American society right now, like, opiate addiction. Now that we're talking about a conviction here, we're also talking about like these federal minimum punishments. So Eric K is going to have to go to jail, at least according to his lawyer, for at least 20 years, which is a big sentence for this, honestly. It was a tough trial to cover just because it was, my first experience kind of doing something like that. And I think when you're there every day and you kind of hear the evidence and you kind of, you're like a juror to some extent. You're trying to parse through everything, decide what's important, cover the things that are, coming out every day, and taking down notes and just listening to it all. I think it's tough for the Angels, obviously. This is not a good reflection on them. It's, beyond 5 players testifying that and obviously was 6 if you include Tyler, that they bought drugs from Eric Hay. It's tough to think that that's something that could have happened, and, happened for years. So not a good look for the Angels, but, I think at the end of the day, it's the Skaggs family that I think most about, and and Eric's family too. Now dealing with this, it's also tragic for them too. So it's just really tough. I don't want to opine on the results or anything like that, but it was it was a tough case to prove. I'll say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was, like I said, extremely tough, especially you did a fantastic job, by the way, of covering it. Everybody there did a fantastic job, because it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
But you were 100% the right guy to do it in the Angels organization, because you look at people that were kind of, in a sense, connected with Eric. And that's a tough thing, because, and I'll say this, I mean, I've had the pleasure of talking with Eric quite a few times, and he's a great guy. He had some bad things happen, but he's a great guy, just like Tyler, and Tyler's a great guy, and everything like that. And the Skaggs family is a fantastic family, and we know the mom and Carly, and fantastic family, and the K family is a fantastic family as well. So, I mean, all around, just a horrible thing that happened. But again, you were the right guy that went and covered it, that didn't have the huge connection. And I want to say you did a fantastic job, by the way. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Especially in this tough situation.
It was tough. And even though I didn't know Eric, and he didn't testify, so I never really heard him. Still really uncomfortable just being there for the verdict. I felt for him, to be honest. And I felt equally for the Skaggs family, who I know has been through as much as anybody. So, anyone could go through, any family could go through, but it's like you feel for everyone. It's a long punishment, and I don't know what else to say.
No,
exactly.
Like I said, I knew you were there. I wanted to kind of I didn't want to dive too deep into it or anything that, but you were there, and I just kind of wanted to bring that up to a point and tell you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
At the end of the day. So, Nate, I know you had a couple questions here before we let Sam go.
Yep. Favorite interview you've ever had, most memorable interview, or favorite player you've interviewed? I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can go with this question. I'm sure you could take the easy way and pick a.
We're talking just Angels, or
we'll go anyone. I'm fine with anyone here. Even if there's a college guy that you interviewed before he became big, I'm fine with that one too.
The thing, I wouldn't say favorite interview, but I would just say one of the more interesting experiences I've ever had was going in the locker. I was the first person in the locker room after UVA lost to UMBC. That was a weird experience walking into that locker room, because you just don't know how people are going to react. And I found that to be because like some people were talkative and engaging, and some people were like just not even have the ability to even like get a word out. So it was just such a really unique situation. And you just realize when you're in the moment right there, when you're like, man, this is a time when you have to like kind of rise to the occasion and write something good. And I love those types of times, those types of opportunities, because they only come around every once in a while. So I wasn't like sitting there like super happy that I was in the locker room or anything, but I look back at it and I feel pretty fortunate to have covered it.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, college basketball, Virginia was the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, taken down by a number 16 seed, first time in NCAA history. So that's what he was talking about there. But next question. We usually ask this. Jared loves to ask this question a lot. So we'll let you do this as well. Grade the Angels offseason so far.
I'll go with a B. And I say that because it's one. I think it's incomplete because we'll probably, hopefully, tomorrow be seeing tons of things happen, or today, I guess, because that's when this is coming out. But yeah, I'll say B because they let. I don't know if their starting pitching got them a lot better. I mean, they let obviously let Alex Cobb walk, and they signed Noah Syndergaard, and I don't know what Noah Syndergaard will bring. I don't really necessarily understand why Michael Lorenzen, who may very well be a good starter, was anointed that job without having pitched as a starter, over the course of a whole season since 2015. And he's also been hurt last year. So these are two guys that have just not pitched a lot recently. And so it's maybe they'll be good. They're power guys. And Lorenzen can hit too a little bit and play outfield. So that could be of use, especially in Ohtani games. But yeah, I'll say B. And I love the Loop signing. I think he's great. Glad that we're able to get Rysel back. Obviously, he's if not one of, if not the very best closer in baseball or the American League, certainly. So those are good additions. I think getting like Tyler Wade, Velazquez, those are good pickups. Depth at shortstop, which they definitely need. But B, because it's just incomplete. I don't think they need to. I think they still have to get another pitcher, and it depends on whether or not they're going to try and trade away, a Marsh or an Adele for a prime, ace type starting pitcher like Luis Castillo or something like that from the Reds.
B with a chance to get better, Nate. There we go.
Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble, but like shortstop, are you okay with what they have right now? Would you like to see them go get somebody else? Would you like to see them make a trade? I don't want to get you in trouble though. So if this is something,
oh, you're not getting me in trouble. No, it's a good. I get asked that all the time. Like I think, I mean, listen, it's not ideal, but I also think that their lineup is good enough where if everyone's healthy, like you have Trout, Ohtani, Rendon, Walsh, you have enough hitters in there. The thing I find fascinating, and you guys maybe have like the totally opposite opinion, is like I just find David Fletcher to be such an interesting offensive player because he's objectively had like a bad offensive year last year, like a really bad offensive year. I know people love him because he's obviously a really hard worker. He's a good defensive player. He's, a fan favorite. He goes out there every day, and nobody can take that away from him, but just does not produce enough because he's only really a single center. He doesn't walk ever. So it doesn't drive and run. So the question I have is if he's the shortstop, is that enough offense at that position? And the same question for Luis Rengifo, who obviously does not have a ton of, major league experience to kind of just be anointed that job to begin with as well. So do I think it's enough? No, but I also think they have enough around them to maybe make up for it. And, you have other options internally. I'm really fascinated to see what like Brendan Davis brings when he comes to spring. He had an incredible year. That's the kind of player that, maybe could end up being in the major leagues at some point pretty soon. So
yeah,
Jared and I on that one, we kind of we go back and forth, but like honestly, if you can pick it and play above average shortstop, we're fine with it. And the David Fletcher thing, I think Jared and I are in agreement on this one. He hits ninth. Like that's where he should hit in the lineup. He should not lead off. He should not hit two. He should hit ninth and be a tough out every single time, and hopefully get on base for Mike Trout or whoever you have leading off. I'll let Jared talk so I don't get anyone in trouble. So we'll go back to Jared on the last question.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no, I mean, on the David Fletcher front, he didn't barrel up a ball last year. I just want to throw that stat out there. That's like my favorite stat, minus the swinging and missing that he doesn't do.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorite things about
He's
David.
such an anomalous player. He's like, I covered Joey Gallo. He's like the opposite of Joey Gallo.
He is.
They're just like, but they're both like, you watch them and it's like they're so unique. I love it.
Absolutely. No, it's a lot of fun. So last question, Nate, do you want to get it or you?
No, go ahead. Take it.
All right. I'll take it. Way too early Angels predictions. What do you got? What do you think the record's going to be? Way too early though. I know the offseason.
If we're talking 162, hopefully, somebody asked me this earlier. I think I said, you'd hope 87 to 90 wins, because if you don't get that with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on your team, then you just need to just scrap it all and start over at that point. I mean, it's like you got to be able to get to the playoffs with those two guys. I don't care how you do it; it's just got to happen. So I think it's a fair number, especially if they're, their pitching is a little bit better. If they end up having similar issues as last year, though, that might be too big of a request of them. But if it's in 162 game season, I think, it also depends on the number of playoff teams. But I think they'll be in it for sure. Whether or not they make the playoffs probably depending on how many teams make the playoffs. And if these starting pitchers end up producing, can Sandoval have a good year? Can Griffin Canning get back and maybe do something that be the pitcher that obviously people thought he could be for the last few years? Those are things that kind of need to fall into place, I think, for them to have a pretty special season.
Absolutely, a lot of what ifs. Definitely a lot of.
I was going to say, very political answer.
Yeah. No,
what would be? I'm curious. What would be like? What's a non-political? What would be like?
I just wanted to know, like, if this team right now, if there were no trades, no more free agent signings, is this team winning 87 to 90 games?
Well, we talk about this all the time because there's a lot of what ifs.
Like 100%.
Everything in the lineup is a what if at the moment. I mean, even Trout's a what if. Is he healthy?
Is he? I mean, 87 to 90 be high. I think it's possible. I don't think there are some teams where you're just like, that's impossible. I don't think I look at the Angels and say that's an impossible. They could do even better than that. I mean, theoretically.
Yes.
But it would be tough. I'm kind of calculating the idea that they're going to at least sign like some other starting pitcher. But even if they don't, it's not like they don't have 6 guys that can go out there. So They were able to, they got in a lot of trouble at the end of last year when they had the COVID issues and injuries and just were throwing guys out there that should not have been there. Yeah. But, I mean, I think the Angels and even the pitchers that were out there maybe would acknowledge the same thing. So, it's if they can avoid some of that stuff, it's like you said, it's a lot of what ifs. I think they have the roster to be decent.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're in agreement, 100%. It's just a lot of what ifs for sure. So, Sam, thanks so much again for jumping on and talking with us.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for having me. Happy to come on. Well, literally whenever. So I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of you guys' work. So yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you as well.
Yeah. No. Throw the plugs out there again, man. Where can we find you? Where can they go to get a subscription to the Athletic? All that
I'll start with my Twitter. Yeah, just go on Twitter at Sam Blum 3, the number 3. So.
Sweet.
Love to get some followers, get the brand going or whatever. So, and then obviously read the Athletic. As always, hopefully everyone does that.
Yeah, absolutely. You do a fantastic job again. Thanks, man, so much for being on here. And guys, thanks so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.